So something I didn't mention in my introduction video was that I am actually a collector of pre-barcode paperbacks. Basically, anything before the mid to early 80s, basically, I collect. Um, so I've got a nice stack here of pre-barcode paperbacks. Now, there are some exceptions to the rule. I have a couple timescapes that are with barcode, as well as DAW editions that are with barcode, but those are the only exceptions to the rule. Like everything else is pre-barcode. Um, so I got a nice stack here for the month of May, and let's get to it. First off, we got a nice copy of Nine Princes in Amber by Zelazny. There, there's the spine, and there's the back, and got that nice red painted text block. Something I am enjoying to see come back are the painted text blocks. Like, it's primarily like the trash fantasy that's getting the painted text blocks back, but I'll take what I can get. Um, I haven't read the Amber series or Zelazny yet. It's on my to be read, um, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. All right. Next up, we have Jack Williamson, The Cometeers. There's the spine. There's the back. Um, Jack Williamson, one of those authors that's listed on Appendix N for Dungeons and Dragons. I collect Appendix N material. Um, again, haven't read them, but I am a sucker for pyramid sci-fi, and yeah, it's a great cover. I love pyramid covers. They're always like these nice painted, like almost abstract pieces. Nice book there. Next up, we have Farewell to Yesterday's Tomorrow by Alexei Panshin. I had a copy of Rite of Passage in my possession not too long ago, but it was not in the best of shape, so I let it go. And I've been trying to get another copy of it since then. Um, I try not to buy online too much just because of how pricey online can be. Um, so everything you see here, I got organically through local bookstores. Um, yeah, like online prices are just like out of control, especially for like stuff that's not super rare. Like the rare stuff, like that makes sense, but like, come on, like, am I going to really shell out $20 for a copy of Nine Princes in Amber? You know, that's not worth that. All right, next up we have City of a Thousand Suns by Samuel R. Delaney. Delaney is another author that is on my to be read. Specifically, Babel 17. A friend of mine told me about Babel 17, and I just love the concept of it. I love this. It's got a little notch taken out of it. You can tell that this book is quality. It totally didn't just sit on a shelf for like 6 months and then they decided to notch it to mark down the price on it. All right. When Harley Was Won by David Gerald. Gerald or Gerald, one of the two. I love this cover. It's a great, creepy baby mixed with machinery on the cover. This is from, I should be giving you the publishers as well. Uh, let's see, Nine Princes in Amber was Avon. Commenteers was Pyramid. Farewell to Yesterday's Tomorrow was Berkeley, and then City of a Thousand Suns was Ace, and finally this is Ballantine books. Um, I I collect a combination of different authors, different publishers. I collect based off of cover. I collect based off of time period, the pre barcode. I collect different lines like DAW and Timescape. Um, I got a lot of different criteria going on in my collection. Um, Next up, we have Strangers in the Universe by Clifford D. Simak. This is from Berkeley. Love that cover there. Not the best condition on the spine, but I collect Simak as well. Only Simak I've read is All Flesh is Grass, which was okay. Uh, I have City. I haven't gotten around to reading it yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about City. But All Flesh is Grass was okay. It reminded me of Under the Dome, funnily enough. I wonder if Stephen King got a little bit of influence from that. All right, next up we have a horror book to change it up a little bit. We have Julia by Peter Straub. I know nothing about this book. I haven't actually read any Straub. I had a copy of Ghost Story in my hands years ago, and I let it go, and I've been like chasing that ever since, trying to find another copy of it. But I love vintage horror, especially pre-barcode horror, which is so hard to find these days. You can find modern like barcoded horror like out the wazoo, like no problem, but vintage like pre-barcode horror is really hard to come by. All right, next up we have The Black Flame by Stanley G. Weinbaum. I love this cover. It's got like this Halloween vibe going on with it, with this queen on the front and the black and orange flames. This is Avon. Oh, Julia was pocket fiction, pocket books. This is Avon. And anyone out there who resells paperbacks, please just listen to me. Stop marking numbers and prices on your covers. It just ruins them. Please stop this. Like, I didn't notice that until I got home, and it's like, oh man, I wouldn't even pick this up if I had noticed it. Um, but it is what it is. It's in the collection now. All right. One thing I'm slowly doing is getting rid of all of my hardcovers and replacing them with paperbacks. And this is one of them that I was replacing. West of the Sun by Edgar Pangborn. Haven't read any Pangborn, but I have a couple of his. This one and Davy. And I've heard Davy's not a great one to start with, so I was looking for something else to read. And this is from Dell. It's got that green painted text block that you always see with Dell books. That one's pretty cool. All right, this is a peculiar one to pick up, but I have a reason for it. This is the Dark Shadows book of vampires and werewolves. Dark Shadows being this like horror themed soap opera from the 60s and 70s. Reason being, I don't usually go for these TV tie-in paperbacks, but reason I went for it is that I'm actually writing a gothic horror tabletop role-playing game, and like I do a ton of research for it, and there's a couple of stories in here that would actually be really good to read in preparation for writing that game. It's called Hammers, and it's all about fighting werewolves and vampires and stuff. And which one was it? Oh yeah, Count Magnus by M.R. James. That's one I want to read. And there's a couple different ones in here that would probably be pretty good to read as well. But yeah, and that's from Paperback Library, and that's that's a peculiar one, but it would probably be a good addition to the collection. All right, so in addition to pre-barcode paperbacks and DAWs and timescapes and stuff, I also collect the Ballantine Adult Fantasy series, and this is The Cream of the Jest by James Branch Cabell. And I love Ballantine Adult Fantasy. I love these painted wraparound covers. A Book of Dreams it is, and a very wonderful dreams, and that's from Sinclair Lewis. A curious, singular, and enchanting book. I have read it with admiration and delight, and that's from Arthur Macon. So high praise, high praise. I have about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 of the Ballantine Adult Fantasy, and unfortunately, with the area that I live in, those are the ones that I have to find online. Um, but I usually ask for those for like birthdays or Christmases. All right. Next, we have The Sword of Morningstar, and this is by Richard Mead. I know nothing about Richard Mead. I have no idea what he's written, but this looked like some good sword and sorcery. So I figured, what the heck? And this is from Signet. Yeah, I I believe that's a no. That's a Jones cover. I was going to say that's for Zeta, but this is definitely a Jones. Here's an interesting one. Great science fiction about doctors. 18 choice tales of the outermost worlds of medicine. This is edited by Groff Conklin and Noah D. Fabricant, MD. Got a great Renaissance cover there. Let's see who they got in here. Let's see. Arthur C. Clarke, Arthur Conan Doyle, Nathaniel Hawthorne, C.M. Kornbluth, Murray Leinster, Alan E. Norse, Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah, they got quite the lineup in here. A lot of no names, but a lot of good stuff in here too. And it's not. So let me try and illustrate this. This is a very heavyweight book. Like this is heavier than your average paperback, but the pages inside are like Bible paper. It's weird. And this is from. Who is this from? Crowell Collier Publishing Company. Never heard of them. Hmm. All right, next up we have Crompton Divided by Robert Sheckley. This is from Bantam. No. Robert Sheckley is a name that I recognize, but I have no idea what he's written. That's mainly the reason I picked this up, and that cover. The cover's pretty good. All right. Next up, we have some timescapes. Like I said, timescapes are one of the only exceptions to the rule of no barcode. That and DAW are the only books that I collect that have barcodes. First up, we got Dampire by Scott Baker. Got some cheesecake on the cover here. And obviously, this is from Pocketbooks. All right, we got The Warhound and the World's Pain by Michael Moorcock from Timescape. Got a like these timescapes aren't in the best condition. You never do find them in really great condition unless they're not great titles that just weren't read. All right, we got Inferno by Larry Niven and Jerry Purnell. And this is one I already owned, but the copy I have is a earlier copy in blue. This is a later copy with the barcode in red. I figured why not? Why not pick it up? All right, we got Retief, Diplomat at Arms by Keith Laumer, and this is one of the Retief series. Haven't read any of this, haven't read any Laumer, but, you know, got to pick up those timescapes. And this is one I was really excited about. I was really excited to find this. So this is Citadel of the Autarch by Gene Wolfe. This is volume 4 of the Book of the New Sun. I'm currently in the middle of reading this. I'm almost finished with it, and I've got to say I'm a big fan. I love Book of the New Sun. I get a lot of people complaining about Book of the New Sun, saying it's like, oh, I don't understand what's going on. And it's like, well, sounds like a you problem, because I'm enjoying it. I have no problem understanding what's going on. Finally, we have the Fantasy Annual 3, edited by Terry Carr in the Timescape. I love these fantasy anthologies. I think you get some real juice out of these, as opposed to like full fantasy novels. I think fantasy, especially fantasy and sci-fi, are those genres that really shine in short fiction rather than novels. I think it takes a really talented writer to make sci-fi and fantasy work in novel length. But short stories, you can pump those out and really get some juice out of those. All right, finally, we have 3 DAW titles. First up, we got Mutants by Gordon R. Dixon. Great cover there. Little bit of fading on the spine, but nothing too crazy. I'm not too worried about fading as long as it's still yellow, you know? Like, you get those really crazy ones where it's like white. It's so faded. Yeah, I don't go for those. Next up, we have Shape Changers by Jennifer Robertson. This is part of the Chronicles of the Chesuli. This is book 1. I wonder if there were any further books in this series. You never know with DAW. And finally, we have the DAW Science Fiction Reader. This was number 200. And yeah, that's the stack for this month. Pretty nice stack, a nice addition to the collection. Yeah. Please, if you have any suggestions for the channel, please feel free to comment below. I actually have a couple ideas lined up. One of them being actually clean and refurbish a lot of these paperbacks. I was thinking of doing like maybe a Jules Burt style cleaning video for these paperbacks. Like, I took a lot of the price stickers off of them already, but I also clean the covers, dust down the edges, and like if they're especially like important ones to me, I also bag them. So please, if you'd like to see that, comment below. Please like this video. Yeah, and I'll see you around. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.